Good morning, welcome to your fiscal court. The year has gone by very, very quickly. It is June 17th, 9:30 in the fiscal courtroom. I want to, again, welcome you all. If you want an agenda, they're back there on the back bench. And I want to introduce to you all, if you haven't met them, David and Debbie Thompson of Holy Chapel of God Church. They're going to lead us in what I think is the most important part of the meeting, the prayer, and then the pledge to the United States flag. So come on up, brother and sister, Debbie and David. Let's stand.
Dear Heavenly Gracious Father, we honor you and we thank you that you have brought us to such a time as this. We thank you, Lord, that you are the supreme authority, and we submit our authority to yours. You said to acknowledge you in all our ways, and you would direct our paths. But Father, today we come before you, we acknowledge, Lord, that you can see the future a lot better than we can. You know the direction that you have sent this county and this city and this state, this nation, and this world, Lord. You said in Jeremiah 29:11, Lord, that you know the thoughts around us, the thoughts of peace and not of evil, Lord. And you also said that we have an expected evil. We ask that you guide us and direct us, Lord, in the decisions made today, that your hand will be upon each and every one, Lord. And Father, we ask your hand upon each council member, Lord, and God upon your people. We give you all the honor, the glory, and the praise. In Jesus' name. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all so much. Next on our agenda, number 4, presentation and approval of bills. Magistrate, those are in your package. Are there any questions concerning the bills? Thank you, Magistrate Bradshaw. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Thank you, Magistrate Bradshaw. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion concerning the motion on paying the bills? There's no questions being asked. Hearing none, Ms. Prater, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcroft? Yes. Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Razzle?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next, we have the bills as reported by the Treasurer's Office. Ms. Sharp?
Yes, I sent you guys a packet. The bills that need to be approved in the treasurer's office are ready for June 4th and June 12th.
Is the bills only on the report? Thank you, Magistrate. Do I hear a second? Thank you all. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion concerning approving the bills as submitted by Treasurer Sharp? Hearing none, Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcroft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Razzle?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
And also presented to you in the treasurer's packet was a monthly revenue journal, a funds receipt journal, an appropriation condition report, an expenditure transfer report, a warrant distribution, a financial statement through May 31st of 2014 for review.
Are there any questions concerning the Treasurer's report? If not, then I ask for a motion to approve.
I'm sorry, I have one question. Can we
on the treasurer's report. Action is requested. Number 5 on the agenda.
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report. I'll second that.
Thank you, magistrates. We have a motion and a second approving the treasurer's report. Are there any questions? Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Westbrook?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw? Yes. Mr. Roberts? Motion carries.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp. Next on our agenda, item number 6, approval of the minutes from June 3rd, 2014.
I'm going to give Ms. Brown the mistakes that I found, the typos. If anybody else can do it.
Thank you, Ms. Sharp.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes as they are.
Thank you, Magistrate.
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second concerning approving the minutes of the June 3rd, 2014 fiscal court meeting. Are there any questions? Hearing none, Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Westbrook?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you all. Now, under presentations, we have Sheriff Dave Greenwell to discuss the HIP fees collected. Sorry. No presentation. Thank you, Carl. Next, we have Cindy Devine and Bill Mulhall, they are to explain that the signage, they are to explain of this project at the county building concerning signage and painting. Are they here? Well, let me talk to you all magistrates about this. CASA and the Chamber of Commerce wish to pay for all of this and have all this done. People who want to volunteer their work. They are just asking for your blessing since this building belongs to the Floyd County Fiscal Court to put a new sign somewhere, I think on the building, not quite sure where, and to do some painting. So are you all okay with that?
Judge, under Article 3, paragraphs G and H of the lease, you need to get formal written permission to allow that. So long as you understand that it cannot, and they understand it can't violate any existing zoning requirement or ordinance that's already in place. As long as you all vote and you give them written authorization, they can put that up. So I don't know what to get parameters from them on what it is ahead of time, or it's already seen plans on that.
Okay, thank you. But we have to get a written, right, authorization. Okay. Would someone like to make a motion, if you approve this, to have my office compose a letter stating that we, the fiscal court, authorize Madam Attorney, should you like this letter or is it all right?
But anyway, go ahead and vote on it and write a letter.
Okay, authorizing the changes to be made that the inhabitants want to make.
Make the motion that
Yeah, also
And
the chamber and corner. Corner's in there too. The corner, yeah.
that they would be allowed by the fiscal court to use signage and painting on campus.
Thank you. I'll second that motion, and we can propose that letter. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Westbrook?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, magistrates. Now we have Mark Davis with Davis Computers to give us, about a 7-minute presentation concerning the service he provides for the detention center. Jail office is here too, in case she wants to chime in on the services that he has provided. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you. Good morning to you all. Just a little bit about myself. I was born and raised part of my life in Jefferson County, but I was went to school here from time I was in grade school, high school. A lot of people in the audience probably know a lot of Davis is around here, so just to give you a little background, about what I do for the jail, I've been doing for them since October of 2010. Initially, the jailer at the time approached me saying that he needed some help with the systems. He had a guy under contract at the time, but he wasn't really getting the service that he really wanted. Basically, he couldn't get the guy to really show up when you needed a person to show up. When we talked about the position that he needed and the kind of work he needed, I told him we really needed a full-time person to come in and take care of all the systems. He said the county really couldn't afford to pay for one full-time employee, probably about $35,000 at the time. And then we worked out a plan where if I did a monthly service charge for them, I would come in and learn all their systems, not just the computer system, not just the network, but come in and learn all the different systems that the jail provides. And I emailed each of the magistrates yesterday an outline of everything that I do, so this can go pretty quickly today if you've had a chance to read that and look at it. You all can stop me anytime if you have any questions about what I really do at jail, but as you can see through the list, as being a domain administrator for the network, all the computer systems, all the devices, the printers, the network devices, the firewalls, all those are handled by me. The most important piece of software at the jail is the jail tracker system. And you all pay pretty hefty fee each year for that system. But that system really goes out and gathers information from a number of other systems at the jail. Cobra Banker, which takes care of the commissary. This program, which is a machine which registers everybody's fingerprints. Those all bring in information to the jail tracker system, and that is the most complex system that the jail provides. I also work on the camera systems. There are 3 camera systems at the jail currently. The Vine system, I'm the administrator of that system also. Vine is a required program by the state. Vine actually stands for Victim Information Notification every day, and that was brought out after the Megan law was passed, where the jail was required to provide information upon the release of criminals to families, victims, and to notify them at that time when the person was being released. So all these systems all have to work together. They're all networked. They're all accessible by computer. We have a number of protection systems for the jail because we do have a lot of sensitive information there. The firewalls are protecting people from coming inside the jail and attacking that information. We also provide a web page for people to access the jail information to see who's in the jail and that sort of information. So there's a lot of complex systems going on in the jail. I think a lot of people probably looking at the simple contract that I had just thought all I did was just show up and work on computers and do support for mainly an office that did like document transfers and basic office functions, and that's not really the case. It's taken me a long time to learn a lot of these systems. Some of these systems I had to travel to Bowling Green to the company who actually provides the jail tracker software. That's a special off-the-shelf software package. Yes, Mr. Ryan.
After you do all this, do you have anybody at the jail that's computer savvy that can do this with you out there?
There is a person on third shift, a captain on third shift, I believe it's captain, who can do some things that I can walk in through. But I have administrative rights on these systems. A lot of these systems are very complex and very sensitive, and you just can't get access, administrative access to the money. That gentleman does have some administrative rights, and I can usually walk in through problems if it's late at night or middle of the night or, the system is down. But, he's about the only person.
I have a question. I noticed on 9,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm assuming you don't put this information in, it's on the jail list, is that correct?
Yeah, most of the information is, the jail tracker system interacts with all of these systems. So once a person is booked, that information is pulled out of jail tracker by the Vine system, and then it's uploaded to the Vine company themselves, and then they provide information. Basically, what Vine does is it actually calls victims and families
Oh, I know,
and lets them know that.
40 at least about a guy, and I didn't even know that. I didn't know that. So I finally got a hold of Vine.
No.
They informed me that they had come from the detention center, and I gave them my numbers, and they said they didn't know what we were doing, and I had to help.
Yeah. The jail tracker system is quite complex. It really pulls in a lot of information from a lot of different systems. Booking, visitation, orders from the court that says that criminal or an inmate has no visitation from this person, and not allowed to talk to this person. They have visitation rights from whoever. So it keeps a lot of information. But the good thing about it is any person there who has access to those systems in the jail can access the information instantaneously.
So does this jail tracker have anything to do with the HIV program?
No, that's a separate program. But the main systems in the jail, the commissary system is complex. The jail tracker system, which really ties all of it together, and the camera systems, which, are very important for the security of the jail.
Any other questions from Mr. Davis? If there are no more questions, then let's entertain the idea of having Mike Phillips come up to speak on behalf of, not on behalf of Randy White, but just for Randy White, does for his partner. Thank you very much, Mark. Do you want to stick around a bit? That might be a good idea. Now, Mike is going to explain how Randy White of Customer Solutions Incorporated assists his department. He's also going to explain why Mr. White is not here today. Take it away, Mike.
Mr. White emailed me this morning, and his son came home from Germany and was married this weekend, and he's spending the day with them before they fly out to Dubai for his daughter-in-law's new job. So I told him that was a little bit more important than coming before you. So if there's any issues, that's on me. The only thing that I wanted to bring to, it's not that there isn't another company that can't do what Randy does, but the systems that's been set up between the three agencies and the network system between the EMS billing software, CAD vendor, and the relationship that Randy's built with both, so that when they pick up the phone and they talk to each other, it's easy. That's something Randy's been doing for 5-6 years, and they've learned billing software, and they know him by first name, CAD vendors. Randy's not accountable for the CAD software itself, mainly the network that brings it from upstairs to the floor, positions and anything in between, and then all of the circuits that go out to the other first responding agencies. Billing software, how we bill Medicare, and the networking, how that's set up, and all of our friends. And then the only other thing that really is important on what we do is somebody that is available 24/7, especially for dispatch. EMS can pretty much, we only bill Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
The dispatch is a 24/7, 365-day on-call. They have somebody that can work through the network and work with the CAD company to make sure everything else is going on. And then Randy has become quite familiar with the LinkedIn CIC network. It comes in over there and then jump through all the background checks, the fingerprinting, and everything else that the FBI requires. It's not that anybody else can't do it, it's just the hoops we have to jump through. So the only thing, I prefer to just keep Randy since he understands the whole system, but if we don't, what I would like to recommend to the board is, before we go jumping to different people, that we come up with a proposal and have these vendors come in and look at these systems so that they know the intricacy of all the systems and what needs to be done. And they're giving us a quote based on actually looking at the network. So if they come in, and I've been here a long time, and each vendor is different, you get to hear how crappy the last one does, and we need to do this, and we've got to change this because this isn't right. And I'd like them to walk in and understand that the servers are free servers of the link system. So that's something that they need to know. So we're going to do it. I'd like to request that we put out an RFP so that companies can come in and understand every agency in this county and bid appropriately. In a perfect world, you guys would hire an IT person that actually worked for us and we'll be on call if we need them, but that's a perfect world. Are there any questions?
Thank you, Mike. And County Attorney, before I introduce Dan Lester, go ahead.
Judge and court, I wanted to make a statement. I think the sheriff wanted to be here this morning, but he's been tied up in the situation. Before Dan talked, I thought it was only appropriate for us to tell you about a press release that was issued yesterday. It was issued jointly between the sheriff and myself, and I'll read it, concerning the current allegations of professional office solutions. In correction of certain recent media reports, the Bullitt County Sheriff and the Bullitt County Attorney joined to state that the events surrounding the arrest of defendant Herbert Hall III, which occurred between May 15th and May 17th of 2014. The defendant was employed during that time by Professional Office Solutions as a computer tech. Professional Office Solutions provides technical services to Bullitt County government. The defendant did not have access to the office of the Bullitt County Attorney during the time period in which the events which led to his arrest occurred, and is not believed to have obtained or used any protected or confidential information from the office of the Bullitt County Attorney or from Bullitt Fiscal Court. Lastly, the defendant did not have access as reported to the County Attorney's Office on May 17, 2014. At this time, Professional Office Solutions is not believed to have been involved in this matter at all. The sheriff is still pursuing legal means necessary to continue his investigation and act to protect the public. I thought that was appropriate to have been addressed at this time because of the television statements that have been made that are inaccurate, as well as the software company, social network. But we could not respond to that until we had verified that. The last several weeks of May, my office got a horrible virus called a crypto virus, part of a ransom virus that actually had been in the state AOC system. The state ended up losing a chunk, months worth of documents because of that virus. There's apparently, from my understanding, no protection to this crypto virus right now. It's running rampant. Well, basically, we got the virus from the state, and I suspect that lots of other people at the KY.com addresses are going to be getting it as well. It attacks your Word documents and PDFs. That's all that it gets in there, locks you out of it. You can't have access to anything. For about a 2.5 to 3 week period, we were locked out of everything we had and was having to use flash drives. Since then, the sheriff's office actually had the same virus, and fortunately, I ran into Randy and put Randy with Dan, and I think they got theirs fixed a little faster. I look for it to go around the entire state if it hasn't already. But that was what was going on. That's why we had a concern initially about our office and any information, but we feel confident that he did not get any information from the county attorney's office.
Thank you, County Attorney. And Dan Lester with Professional Office Solutions. Tell us what services you provide. Good morning to you, Dan.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
My name is Dan Luster, and I'm here representing Professional Office Solutions. And I had kind of a big presentation prepared, but the two gentlemen before me kind of kept theirs short, and I'm going to try to shorten mine up. My company's been in business in Bullitt County since 2003, and we started out as a real small mom-and-pop type operation that did medical billing and IT services. And that has kind of grown through the years, and we're now located in Pioneer Village here in Bullitt County. We employ approximately 26 people. The IT department is segregated now from the medical billing group, and we run 5 full-time IT service people. And we have customers all over the state of Kentucky, southern Indiana, and then customers that we remotely support across the country as far east as Massachusetts and as far west as Nebraska. We do things, all kinds of network services, IT services, from network design and implementation, PC sales and service, server installation, web design, web hosting, phone systems. We have a fully staffed help desk that we answer from 8 to 5, so people call in for calling. We actually have someone answering the phone and say, how can we help you? We do have after hours on-call technicians, and we do cabling and infrastructure design. The real question is, what do we do for Bullitt County and Fiscal Court? And that's what I'm here to answer today. And we're a little bit different in that we kind of have a lot of departments instead of one specific group. We currently do services for the Judge Executive's office, which includes the Treasurer's office. We work with code enforcement, planning and zoning, animal control, road department, solid waste. Those are the groups that I know for sure that we do services for today. The services that we do are a wide variety, from repairing PCs, new hardware installation, software services, cameras, audio, video, pretty much anything that's an IT relative subject in for any of those departments, we get to call and we kind of deal for it. And ours is not a contract, it's kind of you render a service, we submit a bill, so it's kind of pay as you go. And for the departments we work for, I don't think, at least for this group, a full-time technician would be employed by the county, which would never, pay us enough in years to support that. You might look at the bill and say maybe you do, but if you took out the cost of this product you buy, it wouldn't be enough to pay an hourly technician, so it wouldn't probably make sense in our case. The thing that you have to think about, though, and I agree with you gentlemen who spoke before me, change in this case might be difficult because for them to come do, the other two companies to come do the work we do, or for us to go do the work they do, there's a lot of things to learn. I think that's what both gentlemen spoke about, is for us to learn the software that those guys deal with, or for them to learn the things that we deal with, it's going to take time. So somebody has to learn those products, those pieces of software, those pieces of hardware. It even takes. So you've got to be equipped or be prepared to deal with that if that's the choice you make in any direction. Are you willing to take that time for whichever company to learn those things? It will cost you money and that company potentially money as well. And will that company have the resources to deal with that new work, new services that they have to do? So I think that's something that we all have to consider in this as well. So there will be some effort if the change occurs. Are there questions for me about the services that we render to provide? No. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Amy. Does the court wish to take any action concerning either one or any of these three, or any of the planning? You desire to table it, what is the board's desire?
Take care of what they're taking care of. It seems as though they're all seated in their position pretty well and doing a decent job. I wouldn't change this stuff at all. motion to leave it as is and let each one of them stay where they're at.
We have a motion on the floor, and we have a second. Ms. Brandon, will you please read the motion?
All I have is the motion is to keep the computer services as is. I'm sure there needs to be a little verbiage.
I didn't know if you want to sign any contracts, Judge. I'm sorry that your contracts are up. Well, unless you don't have a contract with Mr. Davis. That's it, just whether you want to sign contracts.
Y'all can do that.
So the motion would be to keep the computer services as is and review the existing.
Okay, it must be acceptable. And here's this, Judge.
You have two of the three, Judge.
That's what we have on the court. Give me permission to sign them when we get them. So,
And the judge is authorized to sign the same on the CPC.
okay, Ms. Graham is going to read the motion in its entirety, and then we will ask for questions or discussion, and then we'll get a public hearing.
All right, the motion is to keep the computer services as is and review the existing contracts, and the judge is authorized to sign the same on the CPC contracts.
Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Rogers?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you, Fiscal Board, and thank you, Mark, thank you, Dan, and thank you, Mike. Good job. Okay. Is Mr. Mooney in here today? Kevin Mooney. So we'll move this agenda item to the next agenda. Director Rowan Campbell, planning and zoning. We have 3 first readings. Good morning, Director Hannah.
Good morning. Our first case is 2014 C05, Strange Enterprises, Inc., rezoned from IL light industrial to R1 residential. The planning commission heard this case on May 8, 2014. There was one person that was in opposition to this because of possible drainage on his property. But the planning commission made a motion to forward a favorable recommendation to fiscal court because the property adjoins other residential property and it meets the comprehensive plan for the area.
Ordinance number 14-10, an ordinance changing the zoning from IL light industrial to R1 residential. The property in question is 2.227 acres, more or less, located at Cabin Creek Drive and being listed in the PPA office as parcel 035LE0022015 in an unincorporated area of the county. Be ordained by the fiscal court, the county of Bullock, Commonwealth, Kentucky. In summary, number 1 sets forth that the property located in the unincorporated area of Bullock County, more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2014-Z-05, is hereby changed from 1L light industrial to R1 residential, given first reading at the regular meeting of the Bullock Fiscal Court on the Bullock County, Kentucky, on the 17th day of June 2014, and set for second reading at the regular meeting of the Bullock County Fiscal for on the first day of July 2014.
Thank you, County Attorney. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in support of this planning and zoning issue? I know Mr. Strange is present with us today. Mr. Strange, you want to speak?
I noticed in this paper on that, it says here, in the absence of testimony to support the above two criteria, the planning commission should recommend denial of the request and with specific reasons for decision. My question is, does the comprehensive plan does it not deal with anything regarding things that happens in someone else's property due to a change in zoning?
Okay. The comprehensive plan calls for agricultural and rural residential. Right now, this property is zoned industrial. Now, at this point in time, if he wanted to come in and put up another industrial building on this property the way it's zoned, he could do that. So what he's asking for is a lighter use because he wants to put a single-family dwelling on this portion of the property. Now, I do believe that they have been speaking. Have you been speaking with the person that formed the complaint? And you all are kind of trying to work out a solution to it. And they're not even sure if the drainage is actually coming from Mr. Strange's property.
Who needs to swear Mr. Strange to the next question?
I was out there, and I talked to Mr. Giles, and it was running that day. I didn't know what was coming from, and I know his property that he is wanting to rezone kind of slants down, slopes down, and so when I went into Giles' house, he's got two sump pumps, and both of them were working. That one that I looked at was running nonstop.
I know the planning commission asked him if there was a problem with water in that house when he bought it, and he said yes, there was.
Yes, they do.
So, that we don't, without engineer study or something, it's hard to say whether he's got a wet weather spring under his house or if this water is actually coming from the applicant's property.
Kind of said to me that he thought there was a spring, but when you not any water in a good while, it doesn't look like that. Something should have been running both sometimes. I mean, as far as the spring. So I just didn't know if the comprehensive plan done anything when they were doing their planning regarding things that come up to people that, live.
Well, the main reason, one of the reasons, like I said, is will be a lighter use than an industrial use because there's not going to be any added, the structure size would be smaller. That was one thing they took into consideration. There will be no asphalt parking or anything. That's another thing they take into consideration. And this property is surrounded by other residential zones. So,
Is there, you're Mr. Strange? I was under the impression that you were going to have, or you had some.
Let's get sworn in first. Oh, you can ask the question, let's get sworn. Come on, Mr. Strange. And County Attorney will swear you in.
Please swear or represent your testimony. Please state your name and address for the record. Thank you.
Mr. Strange, I was under the impression that you had sold the 3 lots on that sloped down area to the pond, lake, where that body of water is. So is that, you did in fact sell those?
Yes, and I actually developed 10 acres there, we're selling them.
And, yes, I saw the ones on the northern. And those people are going to build houses on those 3 Is there 3 lots there? All right, let's just,
Sir, sure you may.
There was really a concern about this water, that makes me
right.
These folks bought this house and said, we scared of water in the basin. He and I had a whole discussion about this. Well, you've got some hills that are surrounding this property and put these one of the lowest lying areas. And obviously there is no concern. He admitted that. John Miller went out. The Lord, for the people to help him very much. And it's hard to understand how he can think about the water 400 foot away is going to affect your house. County is the largest holder on the Edinburgh Drive. It's pretty.
I noticed that the water had been out on the side of the road, next to where the ditch lays, that the water was running down in our house.
That's where the school is. I have concern for people building a house 5 feet on the other side of the water on a flat piece of property.
I really think that we walk all the way down to where that ditch is behind his house. And we were talking, and he kind of seems to think that if perhaps, of course, he thought it was the county people that they ditch that ditch right or that's, it was going back, that would be on the right side. Ditch down where the water would go into that big ditch behind his house, and then it just flows on out.
What I'm going to address with the county is I'm going to ask the county, that's the name, they're on Cabin Creek, they're listening to still water. I'm going to address with the county, trying out if I can actually put in some concrete retaining where that was cold, and then actually put it underground still on the dam, so they will still come. What I just recommend that, and there's no other possibility. Right. I would have told him, he brought it up at the last meeting, I was here. But I would think that was good company.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, so do we have any more questions? Well, that was not a simple question, but are there any other people who want to speak in support of this planning and zoning request? Is that one in opposition? Is there anybody here that wants to speak in opposition of this planning and zoning request? In opposition of? Thank you, Mr. Craig, for being here. News and properties?
Okay, the next case is docket number 2014-Z06. News and Properties LLC are asking to rezone from agriculture to R1 residential. The planning commission heard this case on May 8, 2014. They recommended approval because the property adjoins other residential property and it meets the comprehensive plan for the area.
Ordinance number 1408, an ordinance changing the zoning from agricultural to R1 residential. The property in question is 2.5 acres more or less, located at 557 Miller Lane in an unincorporated area of the county. Being ordained by the fiscal court, the county of Louisville, Colorado, Kentucky, in summary, number 1, sets forth the above property located in the unincorporated area of Louisville County, more particularly described in the minutes and records of the planning commission in document 2014-Z06 is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 residential. Given first reading at the regular meeting of the Louisville County Fiscal Court on the 17th day of June 2014, and set for a second reading at a regular meeting of the Louisville County Fiscal Court on the first day of July 2014.
Thank you, County Attorney. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in support of this zoning request? Yes.
Madam Executive and members of the court, Eric Harris and Joe Mills who presented the case at the planning commission. The basis for the zoning is set up in the commission's recommendation.
Any questions for Mr. Harris? Or Mr. Mills? Thank you, Mr. Harris. this zoning request? Is there anyone here that wants to speak in opposition of this zoning request? Opposition? Hearing none, Ms.
Your next case is docket number 2014Z-07. The applicant is Michael Geiger. He's asking to rezone the property from agricultural to R1 residential. The Planning Commission heard this case on May the 8th, 2014. The existing zoning classification given to this property is inappropriate, and the requested zoning classification is more appropriate because of the following. Properties are zoned ag, non-conforming, and do not comply with the regulations of 10 plus acres to remain agricultural. The Planning Commission is sending a favorable recommendation because the property adjoins other residential property, and this would bring the properties into compliance with the zoning regulations.
Ordinance number 1409, an ordinance changing the zoning from agricultural to R1 residential. The property in question is 12.65 acres more or less, located at 960 Cape Hollow Road and 870 Cape Hollow Road in an unincorporated area of the county. Being ordained by the Fiscal Court of the County of Bullitt, Commonwealth, Kentucky. In summary, number 1 sets forth that the above property located in the unincorporated area of Bullitt County, more particularly described in the minutes and records of the Planning Commission in docket number 2014Z-07, is hereby changed from agricultural to R1 residential. Given the first reading at the regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the 17th day of June 2014, and set for second reading at a regular meeting of the Bullitt County Fiscal Court on the first day of July 2014.
Thank you, County Attorney. Is there anyone here that wants to speak in support of this zoning request? Yes, Mr.
Once
Rivers.
again, Mr. Mills and I represent the applicant. You set out in the recommendation, and I don't believe it's further process.
Okay. Any questions for Mr. Rivers? Mr. Mills also with you on this one.
Right. Planning Commission.
Any questions for Mr. Ferris and Mr. Mills? Hearing none, thank you. Now let me do my, anybody else want to speak in support of this zoning request? Does anyone want to speak in opposition of this zoning request? In opposition of? Hearing none, that's it. Thank you. Anything else?
Yeah, do you want to go over this contract with the property valuation and fiscal court for the use of their records?
Yes. No, let's go ahead and do that. And this is these are records that are coming from EPA that will be used in planning and zoning.
Right, and this will help us to be able to update our zoning maps, parcel by parcel.
Well, go right ahead, Kristen.
Okay,
You don't need to read the contract out there. We prepared the part of the contract, and the other part is that Bruce needs is a state licensing agreement, and you should have copies of both, right? Yeah, and we've approved them, that's for, you don't need to read the whole contract.
And let me explain to the magistrates, this is number 8 under new business on the agenda, which states action is requested on agreement with the Bullitt County PVA, Property Valuation Administration, to allow Bullitt County Planning and Zoning access to GIS data for the information system. And yes, sir.
basically this, we're trying to update all our zoning maps. If any of you have ever been over to our office, we have this great big book. It was, the maps were done in 1968. So each time we have a rezoning, we have to draw in where the zoning is and hopefully we get it in the right spot. By using these parcel maps, we can go through and create a new zoning map, parcel by parcel. And so that will be much more effective, give everybody, you know, the current zoning, and it'll be a whole lot better than the paper maps. It's gonna take a while, but this is a start for us.
Judge, I just want to point out there are two agreements, because your amendment only talks about an agreement. There are two.
And Director Nana, do you just need these to be signed by me?
Yes,
Once the fiscal court gives me permission, once the fiscal court. You don't need any money or?
no, because it's 0 feet to us, not the valuation.
So magistrates, I just need permission to sign these documents, which means once I sign them, then you approve them.
I have a motion to the fiscal court, and those kind of concrete evaluation inspections. Proper placement.
Give you permission to sign second document for license agreement. Agreement between fiscal court and UVA and the agreement. And then there's a GIS products license agreement. And the zoning is on both to provide implement this.
Motion is intended to include signing both documents. Questions?
We have a motion on the floor, is there a second? We have a motion and a second, and Ms. Brown, read the motion, please.
The motion is to authorize the judge executive to sign and enter into the agreement on the report and on the evaluation administration concerning the GIS data and to sign the GIS licensing agreement.
Any questions on that motion? And Ms. Brown, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft? Yes. Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Glasgow?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Robert?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Anything else? Do you have any update on the comprehensive plan from the commissioner?
We still have subcommittee meetings, and we'll have one this Thursday, one next Thursday, and then next Thursday night, there'll be a special meeting to approve the other changes that have been in that subcommittee.
In your opinion, do you have any idea, any time frame on the commission?
But once they figure out what changes they want made, they'll have to send us back to Ms. Lori for her to do the corrections. So,
Not to put anybody on the spot, but I see some friends out there. Would anybody from the audience like to address this issue? This is a 1997 document that desperately needs to be updated. And Director Hammond has worked very hard in trying to get this accomplished, but she's not the one in charge, it's the planning commission. Director Snyder, you want to mention anything? We don't have to vote in, please.
I don't know.
Director John Snyder is with the Economic Development Authority. Yeah, John, what do you know?
Well, I think Ray and the planning group have done an excellent job. One of the basic problems with what we've got at the current time is the document itself can be changed, rewritten, and probably performed in a very good manner. It's the maps that we really have problems with that tie to the document itself. And the maps really rule the document. So because not only the cities, but also the county do not have accurate zoning maps, will cause a problem in the end of really passing a complete document. Correct me if I'm speaking wrong, that I think is going to cause a problem passing a complete document at the end of the day that contains maps in it. Whereas when the original document, whatever, 1997, when the last one was done, it was more of a suggestion list and a list of information. This is written with a lot of figures and other things put into it. You can correct the writing, but because the cities and the county itself does not have accurate mapping and GIS and some other things, then you have a problem tying the written document to actual on the ground. In other words, you really need to know that if property item, what it's zoned in each individual property in the county, because that's the way the document works. And it's hard to change that under the Kentucky law to make it different. I mean, you probably have some thoughts on that too, coming from Tammy, but I think it's going to be real difficult at the end of the day to get a total document.
Bridget, I want a summary of this in the record, because this is an old document, and it does need to be updated. So what would be what's a suggestion in keeping this ball rolling?
One of the problems that we have right now that we discussed with Ms. Laura changing is she has the flood maps over top of the land use map. And the planning commission would like her to put that on the flood maps on a separate page so that you can actually see what the land use is underneath where she's showing all the flood areas. And she's also recommending that there not be any construction in any of these flood prone areas. Well, with proper mitigation, you can do that. It's just you have to go by the state regulations. So that's one of the things that we're trying to work out is because otherwise everybody's going to say, well, we don't want to go to Bullis County because there's no place to build or anything. And so we're trying to get these maps fixed, cleared up, so that you can actually see what our land uses are, other than she's saying that the flood zone is a land use, in other words, and it shouldn't be on that map.
Once I can see that happening in 2 or 3 weeks. Once we get a final, at least, correction to what the written document is, then it's probably going to take somebody to sit down for 2 or 3 weeks and rewrite the entire document to what they're wanting or what they're suggesting. Then we go back through and look at the maps in relationship to what the document is. By going through the process, and the process has been very informative because you involve citizens first, you involve people who are interested in these subcommittees. So I think the county's been very involved in what's going on and have had a lot of changes to what's happened. So I think now we're at the point where we have to put that together in writing, and then we go back and look see what maps fit what's written.
And there was a lot of repetitive language in it that the planning commission has removed because we didn't feel like, we just keep repeating over and over the same thing.
If you want to have to redo the whole comprehensive plan once they finally are finished, and if you want to do the GIS data, can you not incorporate as far as doing what you were talking about, they didn't line up?
But I think what you'll see is that writing will be done, could be done as early as another month or two. The GIS is going to take a lot longer. If you ask the city, Mount Washington's working on theirs, Mount Hillview is partially done with theirs.
City Shepherdsville is working on it.
Shepherdsville's working on theirs. The county itself has not started, right?
No, that's why we're trying to get this data, so we can start getting on that someday.
Then you've got the problem, I mean, for long term, you've got the problem of integrating all those systems. So when, Joe, you go in and look, you can actually see my piece of property is done this, and the piece next to me is this. And that will all be very easy to do, because if you're looking at 2 things, one's a planning document, the way this is being done, it's also a zoning map.
6 months.
Another 6 months. Do you know, just with the expertise you have, do you know if it's typical or it would take this long in updating a comprehensive?
Yes, I've talked to other counties, and some of them said it took them like 3 years to get theirs done.
So was theirs from 1997?
I don't know how old theirs was, but Shelby County, I know theirs took a long time. Nelson County's took quite a while. And those are there's two good counties.
One of the other issues is you're a county in such transition at the current time in Lane. You were doing, 3 years ago, you were doing 20 changes of zoning, now you're doing 70, 80 a year. So you're doing a lot of different changes continually. And you had no mapping to begin with a year and a half ago, or 2 years ago, really. I mean, you had a map up on the wall where people just kind of drew circles and lines on it. And you're trying to not only do this planning document, but also do the zoning document, which planning document is good. There's no doubt it's something you need to look at. But the zoning document becomes more important to the law and the people, the citizens. And that's what we're really want to go is get that done. So each citizen can go in and say, this is what my property is zoned, you got that, this, zone this. And that's what really, I think, valuable. And you're really attempting to do both at the same time.
I had a couple of builders call me, and they were really complaining, this has been back before we started calling. And they were really complaining, said you couldn't get over in that office to, I mean, you could get over to it, you couldn't really find what you were looking for. And they were just talking about the records in general, they're outdated, old, and not up to date and all that. So I guess maybe this is a thing.
Well, we have files and files and files that we have to go through for, and sometimes it is hard. Like yesterday, I was trying to find a zoning for somebody. So I pulled every file around that particular, what I thought was that particular property in order to find what that zoning was on our map. And that piece had never been rezoned, so it was still agricultural. But that's what you have to do. You have to pull files, and that takes a lot of time,
So once you've got this GIS and everything in, when
It's
it's
all going to be
still
in the computer,
Now,
and it'll all be in the computer.
and if it's done properly, they'll be able to set it home and do it. Right. Now, is that going to be inexpensive? No. You're going to have some costs running down through the district to get this finalized. There's no doubt about that. But I think Ryan and her staff's done an excellent job in getting to where we're at. And I think the committee's done an excellent job. And I think a lot of citizens input here. So I think it's been a good process. It's a matter of, we probably weren't ready for what Chris Lowry in certain areas told us. And now we're trying to figure out how to handle some of this stuff.
Any other questions? John, thank you. Norman, thank you. And, okay, Director Jimmy Stowers, he has Bill and Rock Kids, and he wants to talk about the North Harvard Community Activity Parking Lot. Good morning, Director Stowers.
Good morning, everybody.
How's our socks popping along?
Okay, we advertised for bids for rock and fuel. Rock, we only received one bid, and it was from Quality Stone. And it's for DGA, which is vent grade. Price is $8.50 a ton, which has an increase of 1.25. That's most of what we use is town. At $12 a ton. That increases $1.50. Just to check and make sure, since this is on the bid we have had, we called the full-time stone to see what their prices was. For dense grade, it was $11.77 a ton. For channel rock, it was
Do you want action on
I
that?
need action
And you know, go ahead.
This is only bid you received.
That's only bid of received, we've only got two actual quarries in Floyd County, the other one is kind of stone and the other outfit and one price is taken over. Quality, so they only probably they only see the quote. So we call them and kind of help what their prices was. I didn't see how much choice they got.
And I'll make a motion that we accept, quality stone and ready mix for the, rock.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second, and I'm gonna have Ms. Brown read the motion.
The motion is to accept quality stone and ready-mix rock.
Any questions about the motion? Ms. Brown, you can call the roll.
Ms. Astroff?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Judge Roberts?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Next thing we have is for fuel for the hurricane. First bid we got is key oil. The handling and delivery charges is .0175. This is for that one. The total price per gallon, 3.3018. For diesel fuel and key oil, gallon charges is .0200. Per gallon, 2.9857. Next bid is from A&M Oil Company. For gasoline, gallon charges is .075 per gallon. For gasoline and the total cost per gallon will be 3.4869 per gallon. For diesel fuel, and handling and delivery costs per gallon will be .075 per gallon. Total cost per gallon for diesel fuel is 3.2844. And only two bids is received on fuel.
If I'm not mistaken, did last year you used one for diesel and one for just regular
Yes,
fuel?
ma'am.
Was it key oil that you used for the diesel last year?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it route you want to go this year, or is the,
I can't make a recommendation because I know both of the companies.
regardless if we say though, is there a big difference in the prices? I mean, I see it, but that doesn't.
To be honest with you, the price per gallon, you cannot really go by because that changes per hour about in there at terminal. The handling charges was just about what we go by. The handling charges for them delivering and handling. So you can call and check right now and a few minutes later, the price has changed so much on gas. I don't know, you take these ones, the handling charges is what, the only thing we can control. what I'm saying, you know, they can't control the price, you can't set, they can't give you a price per gallon all year.
Looks like it's being handled through about a nickel per gallon. Less the kilo and everything.
And the reason I'm saying that, like this one here for A&M, it's got 6/4/14, and the price was set on the kilo. I don't know if this price was set for that day or not.
Basically locking it on the camera feed.
Next week, it might be $6 a gallon. I mean,
There's still a big difference.
A&M, so we have the computers with it.
they are in charge of the monitoring system, charging system. We pay a fee, county pays them so much, take care of that. That doesn't matter who you got, whatever the fuel is. That's a good system for what you pay.
So it wouldn't matter if you had your oil, it's still run through the.
No, you're still paying for that service.
I'll make a motion that we go with fuel oil this year for diesel and gas.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor, do I hear a second?
I'll second
We have a motion and a second. Let's let Ms. Glenn type it in the laptop, and when it's typed, read it to us.
The motion is to accept the oil company's bid for diesel and gas fuel for the road.
Want me to put those figures in there?
No, this is a budget. It's just that.
Any questions or discussion on the motion? Hearing none, Ms. Brandon, may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Walker? Yes. Motion carries.
Thank you.
What about those working on?
If y'all don't have any plans on this property behind the senior citizens building, the multi-purpose, I've talked to the very in charge of it. I've been watching the very, we're trying to ease the parking up, for the, justice center over here, so bad around here. I talked to, Pauline and Mary Cole. The property behind the senior citizens is not utilized. I called both of them and we worked it out. We can get 20 parking spots behind the senior citizens without putting down the involvement. And she said she could have her employees use that parking lot, bringing up the lots for the buildings around the justice center. If y'all approve them to be used. So I mean, you're all okay once I get that, you know, you can put signs up and have to put any blacktop on it right now, put some action on it. And we'll run the market, just got to sign up on how okay it is. And signing on the money next year, we'll have to put capital section. It's probably around $5. And that, less than that. I think it was very
Do you want action on this?
I would rather call the roll on this, so people, both parties be satisfied.
And at this point, both parties are satisfied
They
with
both
the
agree
plan.
with everything, so far, everything's fine. We don't want to have our money up right now, we want to make sure that everybody employs their money.
Action is requested, please.
Just trying to help everybody.
Make a motion to designate one parking space behind the cultural building for the employees of the police tester station.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second to that?
I'll
motion?
second that motion.
We have a motion and a second, and I'm going to have Ms. Brandon read the motion.
The motion is to designate 20 parking spaces around the Open Doors Community Action Agency for the police justice center.
Thank you, Ms. Brandon. Any questions or discussion? Hearing none, Ms. Brandon, you may call the roll.
Ms. Ashcraft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Laszlo?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Ms. Roberts?
Yes.
Carried.
Thank you, Ms. Brandon, and thank you, Director Steiner. Do you have anything else for us?
I don't, but see, you've got application on, yeah.
Yes, and the magistrate asked me to want to address that now. So it's my recommendation we address this now while you're standing there. And do you want to start, Director Steiner?
Okay, application on. You just probably coming up, and it's, 1.12 miles long. We already, last year, I think, was blacktop 0.44, 7.5 miles. A couple of roads, one in the Bradshaw area, one in the Lewis area. We had to let go back. So that's how we worked that. We couldn't get it all because we did not have the money to do it. What's left is a 0.68 that's not paid with scrap. The cost to do this would be base blacktop and a top coat would be $92,000. That's all. I don't have $92,000.
Whatever you want, if you want to ask me any questions on it. But that is just to answer that.
Want to take some money out of reserve, just finish up that road.
You want to make a motion?
Yes, I made a motion that we use these, how much did you say it was about,
To do that road, the total with the cap too, would be $92,000.
$92,000? It would take $92,000 out of the reserve and, asphalt to finish up, alligator.
I got one thing to add to that. push for the state right now, I gotta get all the state money down. If I can fall for it, I can do it, no break, no break. So I had to get that state money down to get that.
Well, as long as they know that it's going to be done, at least in the fall, I think that would be, I mean, it's not good as far as what they're going to do now with all the dust and everything. But I think they have a for sure idea of when it's exactly when it's going to happen, say in the fall. I think that would be better.
The deputy judge and the treasurer, we won't need the motion for the transfer.
Everybody already, that's just about it.
Oh, you don't need a motion? Sure. Gentlemen are from the applicant, Vernon Road. Would you all stand up and introduce yourselves, please?
I'm Adrian Spalding.
Mike White, Dan Phillips.
And Rick.
And you're the one that's building the
I'm
new
Gilbert.
house. And he's building a new house and he's getting nothing but dust. Mr. Blaine has already blacktopped his drive, but it's the road from where you all put the blacktop in back to his drive. It's not blacktop. It's probably been hard on you because all the trucks and things coming in there, we were bringing all the dust to where his house is.
And, it's my understanding that the county took in Advocate Fund. You want to give a little history on that?
Well, this road project actually started when Judge Rigby was in office, and it's carried through this long. It was done in conjunction with the local water company, the help of the county, and our pulling the plats together to get the road taken over. We come in and had dozer work done, gravel the road, tried to bring the road as up to code as we could, with the agreement that the county would take it over, and eventually it would be blacktop in an acceptable amount of time. And it's just carried on. Now we have half of it blacktop and half of it not. And we just want to put it to rest. It's something that we would just like to get finished, put behind us and move on. And we've, like I said, since Judge Rigdon was in office, and you helped us carry it through when we got it changed over. Thank you for your help. And like I said, we just want to put it to rest. We just want it to where it was supposed to be, get it done, put it behind us, and move on to something else.
Like the record style said, it may be the fall before our road project can get to that.
Well, as long as it's going to get done this year, and it will happen in the fall, I'm guessing we can fight a couple more months, I think, as long as we know that it is going to happen.
Well, I thank you all for coming in and advocating for the cause. That's important for the elected officials to hear and see you advocating. So thank you all for doing that. And especially those of you in y'all can see it. Did someone want to say something about that? You are. Director, do you have anything else?
One thing I gotta say is I have to work up the world. Our retirement package coming in, I got 2 more years to work.
Just add two that, and they can forward, you'll be all right.
I feel sorry.
They don't fly by. They're so fast.
You're there, I got our bullets for Carl. Thank you.
Director, thank you so much. And I look forward to working with you for the rest of this year. Anyway, he wasn't already kind of April of this year, and he's not going to retire now, so I'll be with him until December, and we'll see what happens in November. Okay. Thank you, Ken and Lisa, for that, for telling us we didn't have a motion. And again, thank you guys for being here. You're very welcome. We're going to move on to our Director of Emergency Services, Mike Phillips, with several issues. Good morning, Director. Did you see the double tornado video? Visual in Nebraska? Very odd, isn't it? Did y'all see that? the double tornado in Nebraska. All the people here.
Just makes you appreciate how lucky you are. I have two items to bring before you for your consideration this morning. The first one should be the easiest, I hope. I'm asking to hire Michael Alden at the Communications Center. Starting salary will be $12 per hour. Mr. Alden will be replacing this telecommunicator that resigned and is moving on to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. And then Carla is interviewing now to fill the two positions. We had another one that's going back to Bowling Green to dispatch down there. And one opening that Mr. Alden is supposed to fill is still open, so we still have two remaining in the communications.
Okay, I'll make a motion that we hire Michael Alden based upon the recommendation of Director Phillips. $12 per hour at communications. Thank you, Manager Ashcroft. We have a motion and a second. Any questions or discussion on the motion? Ms. Brandon, then call the roll.
Ms. Ashcroft?
Yes.
Mr. Hunt?
Yes.
Mr. Gladstone?
Yes.
Mr. Bradshaw?
Yes.
Mr. Rockland?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you.
The other item that was on your agenda for the next Gen 911 phone system that's going to the dispatch center for the grant. I'm going to have to postpone that until July 1st. We are waiting on a contract from AT&T so that I can get it to the county attorney's office for her review. And hopefully get it to her the next couple of days so we can have it on July 1st. Or first meeting in July. whenever that is. The third and final issue, we've kind of had a perfect storm hit, for a lack of better terminology, at TMS. As you were aware, back in April, we were wrecked in an ambulance, had a drunk driver run a red light, and wrecked the ambulance and still over at Tony's, being repaired. We had $29,000 worth of work done through the insurance company. Told us that they were going to redo it instead of give us a $34,000 check to get it away. Last week or 2 weeks ago, we are responding to a run out of Washington. We had a car turn and pull in front of the ambulance, which was a 2006 ambulance that had 341,000 miles on it. The insurance company is going to give us $5,560. Because of the age, the comparison, and the high mileage in comparison, they're taking $1,200 off for the mileage. I'm still working with CAPO to see what we can do to come up with more, and I'm doing some assessments myself, but we're not going to get the question money for the truck, and it is total, there's probably about $28,000 worth of damage.